Today we're going to show you how we estimate our income versus our expenditures during a set period of time. Today we're going to show you how we budget. Hey guys, it's Cory.
And Erica. And Zoey. Hey Andy.
Yeah.
So after listing out our debts and finally accepting how much debt we were actually in, the next thing we started to do...
I didn't do any of that, you did.
The next thing we did was create a budget. Well, I created the budget. But before we jump into budgeting, if you haven't already seen the first step to getting out of debt, click the link up here and that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get started. If you're wondering why we're even a credible source to talk about this, well, we paid off over $145,000 in debt in less than 3 years. We found a system that worked for us and we want to share it with you guys. If you want to see our debt-free story, we'll link it below. Before we get started, if you're liking our debt series so far, hit the subscribe button. Once we are done with the debt-free series, we are going to post more money content. Let's get started with budgeting.
So we understand that some of you might have an apprehension against budgeting. Budgeting can sometimes feel like you're restricting yourself and you're not able to spend the money on things that you want to because you're on a budget. I mean, think of something like a budget car or a budget guitar. It's sometimes synonymous with being cheap or buying cheap things and not having the money to afford what you actually want to spend your money on. But we really don't view budgeting that way. It's really liberating for us to budget our money on a monthly basis so we can see exactly where our money is going and we can, ahead of time, allocate money to go towards the things that we need it to go to. Budgeting every month gives us a snapshot of how much we're going to spend on our monthly expenses, our reoccurring expenses, but it also allows us to play with our money in a way that we can allocate a certain amount for just an entertainment budget or items that we want to purchase for that month that we need or want, and it really gives us the opportunity to see how much money we have left and spend what we need to spend and not have to worry about it. So naturally, just through this custom that we've built up and this habitual monthly budgeting that we've built up, we've not only been able to afford and purchase the things that we want or need, but we've also just naturally become more frugal because we look at how much money we have every single month and spend only what we need to spend on by first allocating for our needs, and then second, budgeting for our wants, and third, staying consistent and aware of where we want to spend our money. So budgeting for us is really telling our money where we want it to go so we're not trying to figure out where it went.
Yeah, exactly what Cory said. So when I first started the budgeting, because let's be honest, I created the budget. I still make the budget every month. I didn't know I didn't know how much we spent on groceries. I didn't know how much we spent on gas or household items. So I just kind of made a guess when I first started our budget. But I do remember like every month coming to the end of the month wondering like, all right, well, we got $10 left. Not sure where all of our money went, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Unless you're just naturally frugal, which I don't think there's many of us out there that are just naturally frugal.
But if you are,
Heck yeah.
pro budgeting tip. If you're a husband and you spend a lot of money, let your wife make the budget.
So when I first started out, I went totally old school, grabbed a notebook, grabbed a pen. So if you're like me, go ahead and grab that. But I also exported everything over to, can't export from paper, but I also input everything into an Excel spreadsheet and also our budget tracker, which we'll go over in a later video what we use to track everything. So the first thing that you need to do when starting your budget is to write down your income. I would separate ours by my income and Cory's income, add it up, you get a total income. And this is after taxes. I broke our expenses down into 4 different categories. First category is your recurring expenses, or some people refer to them as your fixed expenses, your living expenses, the things that you need to spend money on every month, your debt payments, and then your random fun expenses. Bless you.
Excuse you.
So your recurring expenses are going to be things like your rent, your utilities, if you have cable, if you have Hulu, Netflix, insurance, and your phone. What we categorize as our living expenses is going to be groceries, household, so that's like toilet paper, shampoo, toothpaste.
Toothpaste, 409.
Cleaning supplies,
Toilet
exactly.
cleaner, like.
And then gas. Those are the three main categories we put under our living expenses. Then we listed out all of our debts, the minimum payment for each one, and then our random and fun expenses. So we started off with giving an entertainment budget for both of us together. Then that kind of evolved into each of us getting our separate one, because then it's like, how do you split the money? It was just easier for us to have our own, and it's kind of our guilt-free. And we had that as a very broad category. So anything, if you wanted an energy drink, or I wanted some candy, or we wanted to go out for ice cream, or we wanted a movie, or I wanted makeup or clothes, or you wanted, what else would you spend your entertainment? But that was all encompassed. Some other people.
I don't get to label my things.
Yeah,
I wanted to say like a video game or golf or motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, that's what his would go to. But some people like to break that down even further. So if you're a coffee drinker, or you're a moviegoer, or you like to eat out, you might want to put those in separate categories. But for us, it was just easier to have one broad entertainment category. If it didn't fit under any of the other categories, it went into entertainment. But then the random expenses would be for things that came up specifically for that month. So if we had to change the tires, or change the oil, or buy new military uniform, like we would put that as a separate category, and that changes every single month. So that's really important to make a new budget every month. So for each of these categories, you're gonna wanna total up the total. You're gonna have your income, you're gonna have the totals of each of your 4 categories, and you're gonna subtract your total of your categories from your income, and that's what you're gonna find out is left over. And whatever's left over is what's gonna go towards the first debt that you plan to pay, which we'll also cover in a later video.
Now, if you're in a relationship, and whether or not you combine or don't combine your finances, it's important that you guys are both on the same page. If you're starting on this journey to pay off all your debt, and that's your goal, make sure that you guys are on the same page, because every day and every week and every month, you need to keep each other in check and make sure that Cory, what are you blabbing about? Just say the stupid thing. And make sure that you guys both stay focused. Something that Erica and I do, like she talked about earlier, is I really don't do the budget because she likes doing it and I'm terrible at it, and I don't know how to really do that myself. But if I had to, I could do it myself. She doesn't believe me, but I can do it.
Real quick, I don't even know if he would know how much goes to all of our bills. So if you think it'd be fun to see if Cory can make the budget, give this video a thumbs up.
Oh, that's
I would
terrible.
love to see how he does.
That's a terrible idea. That's bad. One thing that we talk about every single month, not only the reoccurring expenses and how much we're going to need if we want to travel or what have you. Eric would always ask me if I needed anything or if I wanted anything specific for that month. I mean, that's really the involvement that I have and the input that I have on the budget every month. So chances are one of you is a budgeter and one of you is a spender. Just hash it out, talk it out, and make sure you guys are staying focused on the same page, knowing where your money's going so that you can really focus on the long-term goal of paying off your debt.
So kind of the key takeaways to budgeting that we really want you to take away from this.
Nailed it.
Make a new budget every single month. You can make it, if you want to make a long-term budget for the year, cool, but things come up, life happens, you don't know what's going to come up. So every month, create a new budget. Most of the stuff should stay the same, but that random fun expense category is probably going to change on a month-to-month basis. Make sure you're on the same page with your partner if you guys have combined finances and you're going at this together, because the journey's going to end real quick if you guys are not. You're not going to make it to the end, so it's important you guys have the conversations up front, you talk about your goals, you just really start off on a good foot. Lastly, if you're wondering why I didn't have a category for retirement or savings, you don't have to wonder much longer. Our next video is going to be about saving while paying off debt.
So if you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you like this content, go ahead and click the subscribe button down there. If you want to start from the beginning of this video series, go ahead and click this little thing right here.
We'll post the previous videos in the description box.
We'll see you guys next time.